Good evening, everybody. Welcome to it's the Stint 2 of the DVX 24 hours of Spa-Francorchamps. We're live from the track. It's the GTS for anymore on pole position. In the lead of the race, I have to pick out my spotters map. It's a GSV ERT 60 number 68, and it's got a gap of around 40 seconds to the guys behind. It was the Era Rose car, but it seems to have left the pits maybe a little bit immaturely, too early maybe. Because in the first stint there was a late drama between the car of GTSV ERT number 69 and the Era Esport Race Asylum car of number 33, where I think it was ERA Gaza who picked up two late half-second penalties to get some penalty time. He had to clear those penalties, and that is why the car of the GTSV number 69 was ahead coming into the pits, but apparently he has underfueled himself a little bit, so that's why the Race Asylum car number 33 is ahead right now in P2, and the GTSV number 69 is in P3. Also, we have the Era Esports car from number 22, I think it is. The one in P2 was 33, I mean. Gotta say, the guys that made deliveries for this event have done a terrific job, as always. Who do you have in P5? It's GTSV Jochem going in front of NLR Seal. Now we have RA Marky Mark in P7, closely at, almost made a mistake coming out of the pit stop. It's a bit cold, maybe some cold tires. Some people decide to change to new tires, some people decide to go out on the old tires, but they're really cold because they have to wait into pits for a long time. In P8 we have their own goal. P9 is gonna be, I think, GTSV Dylan, but we don't know yet. A couple teams have already been lapped, as it's also for this Antimalius. I think Alan Power from Monte has also been lapped, and I don't know about Dan TGT. The gap in front, GTSV Randy Moore had a gap of 42 seconds coming into the pits from stint 1. Now it's 37.7. That's all because Rose decided to have a little less fuel in his car than Nico has. But the most important thing is the lap times. It's pretty cold. I had to look at the weather map and I thought it was going to rain, but the clouds just scraped by the track and are not going to hit the track. It's going to be dry for this session for the next hour. For the second hour we don't know. Anything can happen. It's Spa. Just as in the game, as in real life, anything can happen. The gap between the drivers is now 6.8 seconds. And what is going to be the fastest lap time? If we look at the fastest lap time of session 1, it's 2 minutes and 10 with 0.870. Pretty fast lap time to beat. It's a field full of Audi R9s. Audi R8s, sorry. Jesus, Audi R9. What am I saying? Of the 13 cars, we have 9 Audis, 2 Porsches, 1 Mercedes. So it's a bit of a German festival today. And what is happening here? Jochem already going into the back of RA Marky Mark. Race Asylum versus GTSV Vlaanderen. What are the lap times going to be? Randy Moore is the first one to complete a lap. In the practice he was doing 2 minutes and 12 seconds. What can he put on the board now? Is it going to be a 2:11, 2:12? 2:12.0. It's a good first lap time. And let's see what RA Roses is going to put up against it. 1:38 for the second split. Almost the same time as Nicoche, on the same pace. I was watching the stint 1 a bit. I didn't follow everything, but I already... I also want to talk about the difficulty of the R8, because everybody seems to have a little bit of snap oversteer, understeer, and all the other stuff. And it's the same for our Roses after he is going through... Is it Radion? No, it's not already on. Blanchimont. Yeah, he was going to Blanchimont. Almost lost the car because he wasn't paying attention. Maybe he was watching the stream and went onto the grass. It's not a really good thing to do because you're going to crash, of course. Lap time 2:12.4 is 3/10 slower than 4/10 slower than Randy Moore. And what can Nico do? 2:12.5 is also a 10 slower. Shadow going into Blanchimont as well. Closely followed by a back marker, but who is that back marker gonna be? It's the number 12, LM Parvamante, who is lagging a bit, to be honest. And now how about the battle for P6, P7? Where is Jochem? Oh, Jochem dropped off badly, to be honest. He was 1.5 seconds behind Marky Mark, but Marky Mark is managing to pull away. Gap is already 5.3, 5.4 after the first lap. Maybe it's Jochem who has... maybe he had a penalty, but that would have been a severe penalty. I don't see damage on the car as well, so I just think this is going to be a pace differential. And now it's time for Marky Mark to go into the back of NLR. Aye. I have no idea, to be honest, how to pronounce. Maybe some people in the chat know. Is it aye? Lap of him was a 2:11.9. Is the fastest man on track with another Racing 585. And there it is, Taizai explaining why Jochem has fallen off a bit. His pace is just a bit different. He's a new driver, first in the game, he's doing good already. Well, to be honest, if you're joining a 24-hour as a new 24-hour driver, as a newbie rookie, it's always nice to see. Doesn't matter what the pace is, it's all about the experience and the development of yourself. What are people behind him doing here? It's their uncle with a 2.14, but he's already going faster in the sports because the first second was already 8 tenths faster. A bit slippery in the at the end of the Camel Straight. La Source, no, it's not La Source. What the? Sometimes I just manage to fuck up the words in my head. Going into Brussels, no name corner. Oh, pretty good. He's making use of all the track, also the curbs. Sometimes he's using the grass a bit too much, but hey. Minute 12, 2 minutes 14, 2 minutes 13, 13. Animalius. Jesus. Sometimes these names are hard to pronounce. Randy Moore has a new fastest lap time of 2 minutes 11 and 4/100ths of a second, 4/10ths of a second. His gap now to Ari Rose has already been, he gapped him with 1.5 seconds to go. Just more. Jesus, my pronunciation. Nico Che is also leaving a little bit of a gap, 3 times slower than Rose's. Maybe it's the fuel. I've seen some people in the last stint doing stints of 22 laps, so I think that's what we're going to look at. RA Shadow 37 seconds behind Nico and 20 seconds in front of AI. Last lap of AI was a bit slower. Go into the 2 minute 12s, and I think that's a lap time to, it's a pretty good consistent lap time to do. 2 minute 12, low, and the zeros. The sun is not shining, the track is a little bit cold. It seems to be in the, I don't know what the track settings are, but it seems to be pretty early in the morning. A bit cloudy. As I explained earlier, it's not gonna rain in the first hour, at least that's what the weather radar was showing us before this race. Marky Mark going faster again, 2 minute 12.4. Not faster than the guys in front of him, but he is getting there. 5.6 seconds. Let it rain, let it rain, let it drizzle up and rain. we're never gonna know what it's gonna hit us. I don't know what the settings are for this race. Maybe there's a discrepancy in the amount of time the weather is gonna change. Maybe it's preset, it's random. I honestly don't know. Oh, a little bit of a slide from Roses. What is? Let me see. What is the first car that's non-Audi in the rankings? Top 6, all Audis. Yep, not Audi. First Porsche in P8, then we have an Audi, and then it's the Mercedes, the only Mercedes in the field in P11 behind here. Is then GTT, the TGT. And has he been overtaken by Mr. Johnny Waffle? Johnny Waffle's last lap was half a second faster. A battle between the Brits. And this must be the Goodwin E-Racing Club team. And this is the Medway Racing League car of number 30. Yeah, number 30. And the cap is coming down slightly. Not driving blue sectors, but this exit onto going into Blanchimont has been better for the Mercedes than for the Audi. Question is he gonna be able to get close enough? And there it is, a faster time. It's the 2 minute 12.9. First lap in the 2 minute 12s for Dan. And Mr. Waffle, Mr. Waffle, I'm gonna call him. Mr. Waffle is still in a 2 minute and 13.4, half a second faster for Dan. So he's gonna get into the slipstream. And what is the faster car on the straight? To be honest, I think it's the Mercedes. So he has a pretty good chance, maybe this lap or maybe next lap, to put on an attack on Mr. Johnny Waffle. Already 3/10 up in the first sector. Johnny Waffle gained 2/10 on him, so the Audi seems to have a better pace in sector 1. But I also think the drivers are still getting to know the track a bit in these conditions. They have had a half an hour to practice, or like 20 minutes to practice in the stint in the pre-lobby. In the second sector, it's the Mercedes coming back again, winning over 3/10. And now he's gonna get right in the slipstream. But the problem with being in the slipstream is it's also gonna have some dirty air. And how is the Mercedes gonna handle dirty air? It's a big boat, much bigger than the Audi. I don't think it's gonna have a great time in the dirty air. But we're gonna see. Eventually, it's the driver making the difference and not the wind conditions and etc. Yet again, faster in this lap. Not as fast in sector 2 than last lap, but he's getting closer and he's much more in the slipstream now. It's a 7/10 of a second. At the end, it will probably be less than 5. Ooh, has to lift a little bit going through Blanchimont. The Audi didn't have to lift, it seems. Watching on the nose cam. Getting closer, closer and closer. Oh. To be honest, the guy that made this livery has had a couple of hours to spare, to say the least. And here it is, the exit of the Mercedes. How good is this speed? Is he gonna get closing in? Is he gonna get close to the Audi of Johnny Waffle? Over a second closer than last lap. No, it seems that the Mercedes has to lift between some corners and the Audi doesn't. Which gives the Audi a much better chance of staying in front at the end of the big straight. But still, Dan is fast. Let's watch the other guys. Randy Moore increasing the gap to 14.5 seconds. Roses on P2. The gap to P3 is still the same. Era behind it, all driving around the same pace. Marky Mark has gapped himself a little bit. No, he's getting... Oh wait, he has overtaken. Yeah. What has happened to Mr. II? The Noller Racing guys have had a terrible lap. Lap 5 is 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I already thought he was in front of RA Marky Mark, but now he's not. 19 seconds behind is GTSV Jochem. Their uncle on P8 is getting close to P7. It's gonna be a matter of time. I think it's gonna be this lap as well. GTSV Dylan on P9. But what is gonna happen here between Jen TGG and Johnny Waffle? It's getting closer and closer and closer. But it doesn't seem that the Mercedes has the pace on the straights. And apparently Spa does have some straights. So good luck. There was Dan going wide. Maybe that's going to be a penalty. He can't go too wide over those curbs. But he has to take some risks to get close to the backside of that Audi. Meanwhile, LM Parfumante getting closer by a second this lap. Ooh, that's a good sector for that. That's a good first corner from Dan TGG. Can he take the speed up the hill? Does he have to lift for Eau Rouge? Ooh, yeah, just a slight lift. He has to lift, and it doesn't seem like that Audi has got to lift. Still 7.5 tenths on the beginning of the straight, so that's not gonna be enough for Dan to make the overtake. He has to get really close. He has to put some pressure on the car of Mr. Johnny Waffle. Johnny Waffle with a slide there, so maybe there's gonna be a chance in the second sector. The place where the Mercedes is outshining the Audi, to be honest. At least it is for Dan versus Johnny. First time Mr. Johnny has a Mercedes within 5 tenths of a second behind him. And this is the time for Dan to put Johnny Waffle under pressure. It's now under 4 tenths, I wanted to say, but Dan went a bit wide going into Poelon, or going outside the exit on Poelon. Getting close, is a bit on the AstroTurf as well. This is the place where you have to shine. Then you have to get a great exit going onto this straight. He is faster than his previous lap times, but is he fast enough to get a position out of it? It's gonna be under 5 tenths of a second. He's gonna be close. The question is he gonna have to lift again? A bit of short shifting as well. Oh yeah, a big lift, and it's never gonna be a chance for Dan like this on the Audi, who doesn't have to lift for the big straight fast corners like Eau Rouge and Blanchimont. In front, GTSV Randy Moore getting gapped, is increasing gap by a second a lap, almost 3 tenths. Just taking 3 tenths more than he has the fastest lap time of the race so far. Fastest lap has been set by Sander in the first stint with a 2:10.870. Ooh, and a penalty for R. Roses just as he has increased the gap by a second. Nico didn't have the best lap. Marky Mark continuing to increase the pace to 2:12.2. Aye. That was not a good lap. Their uncle is past GTSV Jochem. We have missed a pass for P7 in the race. But it's their uncle who has made a pass on GTSV Jochem and is now in P7 of the race. And it has now 27 seconds in front of him to go to P6. Dylan now 8 seconds and a half behind Jochem. Jochem's last lap was a 2:16, so it means he's around 4 seconds a lap slower. two laps, and then GTSV Dylan will be at the back of GTSV Jochem. Oh, and it's close again. Dan now within 0.2 of a second after Pujon. Is he gonna make a move here into Piff Puff? No, he's not. He's gonna wait he's gonna wait until the straight, but he doesn't have the straight line speed with the lifting in Blanchimont to go past. So he has to make a move around somewhere in the middle of the track, not here on the end side. He's close now, and he's gonna almost off the track. Not the past exit of the Audi. Is Dan gonna take it up the inside into Blanchimont? Is he gonna wait? There's the lift already, but maybe that means he doesn't have to lift for this corner. Yeah, he does. Still close enough to maybe make a dive bomb or something. Is he gonna do it? No, he's gonna brake as late as he can. The Audi also braking as late as he can. Still very close to each other. Is this the time for Dan DGT to make a move on Johnny Waffle? Slight oversteer moment, it has to correct and put out, go a little bit off throttle to correct the car. Don't lift, Dan, don't lift. Oh, he lifted again. Honestly, I don't even know if it's possible to not lift with the Mercedes. But I do notice that if he lifts, he is never gonna catch that Audi on the back of the Camel Straight. Dylan now within 5 seconds. One more lap and he's gonna get there. Jochem now 2 seconds lap slower than their uncle. Their uncle also slower. Ooh, 2 minutes 15. Not the greatest lap for their uncle. Getting closer to Mark. It's now one of the only two guys I think who's doing a 2-minute 11s. Sometimes Roses is going into the 2.11s, but the last lap was a 2-minute and 13. Obviously that was because of the penalty, but still. Nicoche also not in the 2-minute 11s. So we only have 3 drivers in the 11s. It's Randy Moore, Roses, and Ai. Here they are again. Ooh, Dan went wide over the curbs at the exit of Blanchimont. Is he gonna get a penalty? Yes, he is. Half a second. He went way too wide over the curbs. And not even a half second penalty, but also dirty tires. And how long is it gonna take AI to get close to the back of RA Marky Mark? Audi versus Audi. And what's happening behind? Ooh, the penalty, of course, we saw that. The last couple of laps, Annie Mollius just a tad bit faster than Ellen Performante, but not a big margin between. Already getting blue flags for P5 in the race. Ooh, what happened here? Do we have a replay of Dan TGT overtaking? Oh, on the straight, finally he did it. He has passed the car, the Audi of Mr. Johnny Waffle. MR, yeah, I see MR, I don't see the L, it's just gonna be Mr. Johnny Waffle. He has finally passed him, but the thing is, he has the half-second penalty, so he has probably gonna give that position right up again after the... the corner names, the last 2 corners before Blanchimont. And here we go, half a second penalty, ready to be forcing Dan off the gas. And probably Mr. Johnny Waffle gonna overtake him. We're gonna look from the driver's eye perspective. He's gonna be there just around the entry of Blanchimont, side by side. Ooh! And the Audi backs out just as late as he could. And so it is Dan DGT still in P10 for the race. And maybe he can finally pull away. We're gonna see at the end of Eau Rouge. Because of course the Audi is, I think it is possible to do the flat out. And if you can do it flat out in the slipstream, you have a big chance to overtake Dan DDT again. The gap is big, 7/8 of a second. The question is, does the Audi lift go into Eau Rouge? No, he can go flat out. And you see the count, the mini time going down. Not as fast as I was, not hoping, but expecting to see, but still. 2/3 he won. Only on the exit of Eau Rouge. But I think now it's time for Dan to walk away and drive away from the car of Johnny Waffle. Here again, it is Nico getting closer to Roses. Last lap. Ooh, and it's also Nico going into the 2 minutes 11. Marky Mark and II. 3.7 seconds is the gap. The last lap was a second faster for II. Another racing team coming back for that P5 because they think they own that one. Gap now almost under 6/10 of a second. Well, it is under 6/10 of a second. Going into the chicane, the bus stop chicane. Nico had a slightly worse exit. Hello Ruby and hello everybody else in chat. Welcome to the second stint of the DVX 24 Hour of Spa, organized by the World Endurance Series. Oftewel, zoals Nederland zeggen, WES. Met de GTSV crew natuurlijk. And here we see the gap now increase to 1.7 seconds. It is then DGT finally overtaken Johnny Waffle and is now running away, trying to catch the back of the P9 in the race. We haven't seen the overtake, but Dylan has passed Jochem for P8 in the race. And I think, that the pace of Jochem is not good enough to stay in front of Dan DGT, but we can we can hope, and we can see. I think it's going to be around 9 more laps for the first pit stops. I saw people pitting on lap 22 in the first stint, so don't know if that was because of the damage or not. We're going to see. Soft tires are starting to hurt already, especially on the left front, on the left side of the car. The Audi does not like the damage from the wear multiplier, I think. To be honest, it's a bit same as the Porsche. How is the wear on the Mercedes? It's also the same, to be honest. All the cars are quite similar in tire wear usage. I mean that, and also fuel usage. Ooh, and there we have the first pit stop. I thought it was going to be way later. A full tank will give you 35 laps. So this means that you will have to pit 2 times, Mr. Roses or Mrs. Roses. I have no idea if it's Mrs. or Miss. And to be honest, I don't really care. Everybody can drive. Means that Arrow Shadow is probably gonna be promoted into P3 for now. Still has a bit of fuel to go. Nico Che and Randy Moore are probably gonna stay out for a couple more laps. If they want to do 35 laps, I think they're gonna go until lap 21. We only do a one stop. When it's Roses going out in front of Shadow. So the pit stop gap is around 14 to 35 seconds. Depends on what the gap is gonna be between Roses and Shadow. And did I see a penalty over there? Yeah, it is. Roses didn't have the best. Oh, he made a boo-boo. He made an error going into or out of the pits. He has touched too many pit stop lines. He went over it and now he has gotten a 3-second penalty, which is maybe gonna destroy his race. Because he's gonna end up behind the car of Era Shadow. And probably behind the car of Nikoche after he has done his pit stop, but that is gonna be a close one. Gap is 35 seconds and it's around 35 seconds the pit stop, so it's gonna be a close one. And the question is, how is Jochem doing? Jochem is still in P9, has gotten a penalty of 9 seconds, of a half a second, probably because he has gone over the track limits, just like everybody is doing this race. It's a tricky track. I don't think there's gonna be anyone who isn't gonna get a penalty today. Gap now between Dan and Johnny is now 6 seconds. Dan is running away with it. Performante is getting closer. Gap was over 20 seconds and is now only 10.1. And how it is, Animaliers is also getting 2 seconds closer to Performante. So they're coming together at the end of the stint, I think. If they are gonna fight a bit. The gap between Dylan and their uncle has also been slowly going down. Gap is now 3.7 every lap. Their uncle is almost a second slower, or 5/10 of a second slower than Dylan. So that means there is going to be a battle between P8 and P7. It's the Porsche versus the Audi. We have seen Mercedes versus Audi, but what is it going to be like versus the Porsche? Ooh, aye, very close for the track limits. Is it going to be too much? Yep, it is gonna be too much. Half a second penalty for AI. When he got close to Mark, he is now in the slipstream, 9/10 of a second. Let's see if we can maybe show it from outside of the car. Just went over. You have to touch the curb with 2 cars at a time. If you don't, you're gonna get a penalty. Same time, there is somebody not really happy with the penalty system. To be honest, there are a lot of games that have a better penalty system than Gran Turismo has. Rose is now 2.1 seconds behind Shadow. 12.2 is a good loop, is a good lap time. A second faster than Shadow to be. And the gap between Nico and Brandy Moore is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's now 50.7 seconds. Means that if Randy Moore is gonna do a pit stop and is gonna fully refuel himself and take fully tires, like new tires, He's still going to be ahead of Nicoche, and he might have some seconds to spare as well. Probably some 10 or 15 seconds. He's getting now close to back markers, Nico. I think it's number 9, Jochem. Yep, it is. Ooh. Mr. Johnny Waffle, his pace is falling off a cliff right now. With a very special helmet, to be honest. The gap now 4.1 seconds against Mr. Performante. Yep, you're gonna get a penalty anyway, so just do full throttle. But the best way to avoid a penalty is just staying within the lines. Easy to say as a commentator, but it's true. Here it is, the Audi Martini livery. Very cool livery to see. Everybody has done a tremendous job again. We know that Shadow has not come in for a pit stop yet, and Roses has. Is there gonna be a fight for P3, or is Shadow gonna let him go? I do think, to be honest, like Shadow isn't really racing at the moment for any position except for the P4, of course. P3, P4. His next opponent for P4. Ooh, and who is that? There's somebody in the grass. Is it? No, who is it? Was it Animalus? It looks like it. What has he done? Oh, maybe he touched the grass a little bit too much. And now he is a bit further behind than the 20 seconds he was. Also still has a penalty. No, he doesn't. But gap is 34 seconds again. Was doing a great race. A bit of recovery against the P12 and P11. Speaking about it, P12 and P11 2.5 seconds apart. And also P3 and P4 really close. And it's Shadow has a penalty. And let's buy Roses. Of course, people from the same team. Bit of team orders over here. I thought I heard a car spinning, but apparently it didn't. Here we watch LM Performante getting really close to the back of Johnny Waffle. And what is Johnny Waffle gonna do? He's noticing that Johnny Waffle, at least at Performante, is a bit faster than him. Performante also a little bit lagging into the corners. And here we have the pit stop of ERA Racing Asylum is Shadow driving for the number 22 squad, I think, or the 44. Different, it's difficult to see. And also GTS4 anymore into the pits. Nico is probably also gonna go in this lap. Gap is now 52 seconds. He already increased the gap by another 2 seconds. And where is he gonna come out? Pretty far in front, I guess. But the big question is, where is Nico gonna come out if he goes inside into the pits? 35, 36 seconds to Rose. 24. Rose is pushing, has an alien spotted. Oh no. Area 51 in Spa confirmed. And Nico did not go in this lap. He is gonna do one more lap to get those 35 laps out of the fuel tank. The question is, how big of a disadvantage is that gonna be against him? GTS fair anymore, pit stop, and he didn't fully refuel. And it cost him around 46 seconds. So I think Nico is gonna get behind Rose in front of Marky Mark, and there is there is II almost on the back of Marky Mark, but then he has a penalty to serve, and it's gonna be a bigger gap. Ooh, and II, he doesn't have to refuel, I think, or maybe just a slight bit. It's gonna get a massive advantage against Marky Mark. I think the amount is gonna be like 55, 56% of fuel that they're gonna need to go into the last laps of the race without refueling again. Question is, are the tires gonna take it? Are you gonna go to the medium, for example? Pretty interesting things to watch. How much are they gonna refuel? 57. I was close, but not 56. But Marky Mark is still not out of his pit box. Is going to 64 seconds and also a little bit of damage repair, I think. Because the car was waiting a little bit. I didn't see it completely. And there it is, Nico also going into the pits. But the gap between II and Marky Mark has made a big advantage in on the side of II. Gap is now 3 seconds. From 1.5 seconds behind, 3.5 seconds in front. Oh no, 3.5. It is more than 5 because this is Dylan. Dylan didn't have a pit stop yet. And 4.7 seconds ahead is II. So it's definitely around 8 seconds of a gap between Marky Mark and II. There it is, Jochem with his first pit stop of the race. Then TGT, Ellen Performante has already gone past Johnny Waffle and is gonna go for one more lap. Where is Nico and where is Roses? Roses already going over Rouge and Radion. Nico only getting out of the pits now, but he doesn't have to go into the pits anymore, I think. And I do think that Roses is gonna have to again. Purple in the first sector. Can he do something special here? The lap is long. And the lap time is hard to beat. Maybe Randy Moore can do it as well. Some purple lap times would be nice to see. Can we go faster? It is a purple lap time and there is a back marker. So maybe he's gonna catch some slipstream. Is he possible to get the car into the 2 minutes and 10 seconds? Is he gonna have the fastest lap of the race on his name? Or is it gonna stay at Summer for now? Decent Lasur chicane, but is it gonna be enough? I don't think it's gonna be enough for a point 10. Nope. what is Roses gonna do? Is he gonna have a fastest lap here? Not even a personal best at the moment. The gap is 14 seconds between Roses and Nico. Shadow, it has already come in, and his gap between AI is 28 seconds. So that's a nice gap to have. And there it is, Dylan going in for a pit stop. And where is Dan TGT? He also has to come in. Everybody behind here except for Johannes to go into the pits. Johnny Waffle already went into the pits, and the same is now for Animalucius. Animalius. Oh, what's happening here? Alan Performante going hard off the track. Damage on the front side of that Audi. But what happened to Performante? Going into the Blanchimont corner. Did he have a snap oversteer? We saw it in Stint 1. I think it was with Tony going in, outside. Touches the AstroTurf. Tries to correct the car. Doesn't make it on time. And the front snaps the barrier right here. Damage on the front and also damage on the back. No damage on the rear side of the car. But is he gonna go into the pits? Yep. He already had a pit stop planned, so he doesn't lose that much time, to be honest. He does lose time, but if you just previously did a pit stop and now you have to do it in the second pit stop, you're gonna lose way more time than he does now. Next try for Randy Moore. Is he gonna get a fastest lap attempt? Marky Mark in front of him, P6. We're only 3 hours into the race. Not even 3 hours. Oh, that's gonna be a penalty for Randy Moore. Yep. Have a second. Where is it gonna go? Onto the car. Come on. It surely has to be a penalty. That's very interesting, to be honest. Only because of the lift? Come on. I believe the game is biased. Mark with a penalty. Are there any close battles? Aha. Okay. Well, to be honest, I haven't driven in Gran Turismo for a long time again. And if I do, it's mostly with time trials and that kind of stuff. And definitely on Spa. I love Spa. Spa is a really nice track, but it's not for me. I just cannot get any pace out of the track, so I don't like to drive it. Ooh, what do I hear here? The RA has gotten a penalty of 20 seconds. I haven't gotten a message of a penalty yet. But a 20 seconds penalty for the RA guys. That is race asylum number 33. They have to get serve a 20-second penalty, which is gonna drop them maybe into the clutches of the number 44 car, because I think Nico is gonna go ahead anyway. RA has to make another, like, Roses has to make another pit stop, and I don't think Nico is gonna have to. But maybe the people in chat know better than me if it's gonna be a one-stop or a two-stop. My personal thing is I think it's gonna be a one-stop. Their uncle coming in now for his first pit stop of the race, or this stint. Normally a two-stop, okay. So it's not really worth it to pick out the mediums, if it is possible to pick the mediums, to be honest. I haven't read the rule book. No, but it's not possible to take the mediums and go for one stint? Or is it just too slow? Looking at his tires, his tires were cooked. Two minute 11.3 for Shadow, a really good lap time from him. And also Marky Mark getting further and further away from AI. Gap is now 15 seconds. Dylan and Dan are now 9 seconds apart. Their uncle going out of the pits. Where is Jochem? Is Jochem gonna overtake? No. Their uncle is gonna stay ahead of Jochem. So it's gonna be Jochem on P10, their uncle on P9, Johnny on P11, and that's because Performante, of course, had the crash. Had to wait a longer time in the pits to repair his damage, but also, yeah, his way into the garage was a bit slower than everybody else. And now the gap between Performante and Animalius is now also only 13 seconds. So can he get onto the back of that Aston Martin, I wanted to say. That Martini Audi. Randy Moore behind him on P1 is gonna put him on second lap. 2 laps behind then for Performante. And Roses has gotten a penalty, a half a second penalty, which is gonna cost you around 1.2 seconds, I guess. Nico 15 seconds behind. Era another fast lap time. A 2 minute 11.2 is 1.4 seconds faster than Nico. The gap is 35 seconds. Gonna be interesting. No real small gaps anywhere. So my question, to be honest to everybody, is why did everybody pick the R8? Is the Audi so OP here? Why not go for fun and do something like the Ferrari? To be honest, I wouldn't find it fun to drive the Ferrari, because that's on me, but... Nico with a blue first sector. Does have a bit of traffic. Straight line speed. Yeah, but still. It does remind me a bit of the Gran Turismo World Tour Series that they... I think it was the final in Amsterdam, where they had the Subaru qualifying with the other cars, and Subaru on the straight line it was shit. But in the second sector, Audi the best. Ugh. No. Audi's never the best. Always last. Except for this race. It's a bit hard to become last in a race with 9 cars out of 13 cars. Spit on that thing. Acteur. Spit on the Audi. Randy is still trying to do some blue sector times. Gap is becoming a bit smaller again for Roses and Nico, and Roses has to pull away. Also has a hunting Dylan behind him, who is doing some fast lap times. is gonna get in a slipstream and get along the ride. Oof, their uncle, also Dan, didn't have the greatest lap last time. 2:18. Yeah, but Gran Turismo is just weird in general with all the settings. Like, in my opinion, ooh, let's look at the fastest lap time of the race. I didn't even notice it, but AI did a 2:11 flat. Jesus. And David is gonna play a number by Armin van Buren. Blah blah blah. (2:11.0 for Shadow as well. Everybody's picking up the pace. 2:11.2 for Randy. Roses and Nico the only one doing in 2:12s in the top 5. But Nico doing some personal best again in the sector 2. Gap has decreased onto a 13.6 seconds. Roses is slowly getting catched by Nicoche. And also the tires of Roses are fading away as well. GTSV Dylan pushing in his back is not helping as well. And is Dylan gonna overtake Roses over here? He is faster at the moment. And there it is, Roses going into the pits. And how much of a gap is it gonna be? Is Shadow gonna go past Roses again? Don't think so, to be honest. He did have a good stint, but Roses was also doing 2:11 lows. No, I don't think Shadow is gonna stay ahead of Roses over here. We're gonna see the gap between Roses and Nico. The gap was 13.5 seconds when he got into the pits. He's gonna review up to, what is it, 30%, 40, 50 even? 64%, ooh. That's a lot, to be honest. And where is Shadow? Shadow is gonna go past, yeah. Roses not even out of the pits, and there it is. Shadow going into Blanchimont, and he is passed for P3 in the race. And he does, yeah, I have heard that he has to go into the pits again, but everybody has to pit once more. Question is, how much of a gap is it gonna be? Because they have to pit for less fuel. So the gap is 38 seconds. We're gonna keep that in mind. This is the point where you can finish the race with a full tank and mediums. So, how many laps can you do on a full tank of fuel? And in full, I mean 100 liters. On goal, and then TGT is gonna be Porsche versus the Mercedes, and Dan has, oh, he has to go into pits. His tires are absolutely cooked. And is their uncle gonna be able to get past in his lap? Look at the grip difference between the Porsche and the Mercedes. I think it's gonna happen in Brussels. The overspeed is so much. Is he gonna go on the outside of Brussels? Is he gonna do a switchback? There's no room for the switchback. Does he have the exit speed to go into No Name's corner on the inside? No, he does not. And there he goes on the inside of Pouhon, side by side. He's gonna brake earlier. It's gonna give the room to Mercedes, and this Mercedes of Dan is gonna stay ahead. He has absolutely no tires left on his car. Their uncle still has to have a second penalty. He needs to get past fast. Because you don't want Dan to be in front of you for one more lap. Dan also has to fuel save maybe a little bit. And this is costing so much time for their uncle to get past Dylan. Dylan now running away. And now it is their uncle who's gonna serve his half a second penalty. And then is probably gonna go into the pits. He has 1% of fuel left if he's not gonna run out of fuel. It's exactly calculated, and there it is, their uncle going into P8 at a time. 1% of fuel. And where is he gonna get out? Is he gonna get in front of Dylan? Jochem, I don't think so. Is he gonna get out in front of Johnny Waffle? Both also still have to pit. And if I have to believe chat, Dan doesn't have to pit anymore after he does this pit stop. He has to do around 26 laps. No, 27 laps. So, medium tires and a full tank of fuel for Dan maybe? No, it's gonna be racing softs. And here it is, Johnny Waffle. Jochem is going past him in the pits. Then TGT is not even out of the pits yet, and Johnny Waffle is going up to Rouge Radion. Medium is no option because it's very slow, I guess. Good to know. Good to know. The gap between Rico and Randy Moore has gone up to a minute. GTSV crew, the 68 car, is on a mission to lap everybody in the first 6 hours. Waffle is getting close to the back of Jochem. Jochem now 2 minutes 14 is really improving his pace. At the beginning of the stint he was doing 2 minutes 17s, 2 minutes 18s. Last lap time now 2 minutes 14. Ooh, Ellen Performante. Then DGT has come out of the pits. His pace before the pit stop 2 minutes 15s, 2 minutes 14s. That means that Ellen Performante is getting close to that P11. And P10 is not that far ahead. Still, Performante has to go into the pits again. How's it with the guys in front? 1 minute and 1 second for Randy Moore against Nico. 30 seconds for Shadow. Shadow doing a good stint now. He's really closing that gap. It's now 30 seconds. Rose is on 7 seconds behind. He's also doing a terrific job with the new tires to 11.5. And we have a new fastest lap. A couple laps ago actually 2 minute 10.942 is not the overall fastest lap yet because that was a 2 minute 10.870 by Sander, but still it's the second car that has gone into the 2 minute 10s. And there you have it. Mr. Johnny Waffle has gotten in range of Jochem. The gap is now 2.6 seconds. Mr. II has gotten past him, so maybe he can follow in the slipstream. Ooh, and there Jochem went to the side to let him pass. Maybe this is the chance for Johnny Waffle to get past. Gap is now within the second. He's in the slipstream. Exit is better. It's way better. Slight mistake of Jochem going into La Source. Of on the exit of La Source, to be honest. And now there's a chance for Johnny Waffle to go into P9 of this race. Oh, but this is way too wide over Oroes. And now he's going to get a half-second penalty. Maybe even more. No, it's going to be a half-second penalty. A little breather for Jochem. Johnny again real close is front bumper to rear bumper on the inside of No Name's corner. Is it gonna work out? He's gonna go side by side, and now he is going past for P9 into Pohon, still side by side. Is Jochem gonna go on the outside? No, he's not. It is Johnny Waffle on the inside and goes to P9. The tires of Shadow are dropping off a bit. Now 2 seconds slower last lap than Rose's. Rose is obviously the guy that has pitted the latest of this people. Question is Shadow gonna go into the pits before Roses is gonna catch him? Last lap was way better, 7/10 better. Yep, now almost under 3 seconds. Now we see the clouds in the sky. It's not gonna get darker. It's a bit lighter than before on the beginning of the race. But we do go into the evening. It's almost 8 o'clock at local time. Maybe it's around 8 o'clock in game time as well. Going into the night. Then now almost at the Jochem as well. Getting closer to Johnny Waffle. Jochem down with the latest pit stop of the guys here. And the era car of number 33. That is, let me see. Era 33, who is it? It's Roses. Had a stop and go penalty for starting too early, and that has already been served. So, little update to the race. They had a stop and go penalty that has been served. Ooh, Johnny, what did you do? Almost went into the wall. Did he go into the wall? Wait, what happened to Johnny? He was on the pit exit. Was he? Oh, Johnny Waffle into the wall. Bam! How is that not? So, the interesting is, how did that not get any damage? Meanwhile, Dan has passed Jochem for P10 in the race, but now also has the chance to go for P9. We have seen this one before, the Mercedes versus the Audi. Johnny Waffle versus Dan TGT. But how did the Audi of Mr. Waffles not get any damage? Big shot into the wall. Oof. Going side by side, and it's Dan who is getting past here, Mr. Waffles. Let's look at one in the replay. Did Johnny Waffle made a mistake? Ooh, yeah, went a bit too early on the curbs. Hit one of the bollards, and the bollards pushed him into the side, and now it is Dan TGT who went past Johnny Waffles. And now it is Roses and Era Shadow together again. The guys from the same team, Race Asylum. Is the one Shadow going to hold up Roses, or is he gonna let him by? Gap now under 0.4 of a second. Roses with a decent exit, just a bit wide, going out of there. Is he gonna manage to stay ahead, Shadow? He does have to go into the pits. With only 20 laps to go, he has to have 1 tank of fuel. And there he goes into the pits, and it's a Shadow into the pits. A Roses going into P3. Gap now 30 seconds between Nico and Roses. And I think they both have to do one more stop. I also ready to get into the pits. Maybe one more lap, but not for Marky Mark. With a half a second penalty, he has to go into the pits this lap. Dylan has the fuel to go on, but does he have the tires? I don't think so. Uncle in P8. Dan P9 doesn't have to go into the pits. Johnny can go into the pits. Tires are a bit degraded. Jochem now on P12. Oh, I heard something. And it's Randy Moore into the pits. For his last one. So I went for one more lap. And here it is, Shadow out of the pits. Marky Mark is not even close. But who is it in the background? That is Dan TGT. Just ahead. Randy Moore for his last pit stop of the stint. Where is he gonna end up? The gap was 1 minute and 5 seconds. And Nico is not even across the finish line. And Randy Moore is already gonna go onto Eau Rouge. Now it is also Marky Mark in for his last stop of the race, the stint. I'm very used to having a race with only one pit stop, so probably will not be the last time I'm gonna say this. Sorry, my mic was muted, but Nico went into the pits for a second time in a row. I didn't see if he changed anything, but did he have damage? I didn't see yellow flag anywhere on the track. GTSV didn't, now also into the pits. Ooh. Yeah, Uncle and Marky Mark. Marky Mark on a brand new set of tires. Their uncle behind him. And here it is, two people racing for position. Alan Performante versus MRL Johnny Waffle for P10 in the race. Performante getting close to the back of the Audi. He's also in an Audi himself. There we have Rose into the pits for his last pit stop. And still, we don't know what has happened to Nico. Why did he do a second stop? Gap between, oh, there it is, there's Rose. Rose is now behind our Era Shadow, and they are racing for position. Is there gonna be a team order that says show with it? Rose has to pass Shadow himself, or is he gonna get the team order that Shadow has to let the Roses pass? Only 3.5 seconds behind. Here is the car of GTSV 69. Nico. Let's watch the battle between P2 and P3. It's definitely getting dark, and it's right. It's time to go to the next lap. Like, it's almost time to go into the next stint. Only 15 more laps to go. 15, 13, 12. Depends on who you're watching. Jochem now in last place, but it did his last pit stop. Sorry, back again. 1 minute and 34 seconds between Randy Moore and Shadow. Jesus. Shadow, pulling away from Roses. So from this stint he went from P2 to P4 to P2. Really good job by him. Here are racing. Now passing. GTS3 Jochem. Monte past Johnny Waffle, probably a couple laps ago, but still want to mention it. Their uncle and Dan right behind each other. Their uncle has way better tires. How long is it gonna take for this Porsche to pass the Mercedes? Gonna stay with this battle for now. Because it's getting closer and closer. The exit here for the Porsche is way better than the Mercedes. We have seen this battle before, I think. Still not getting past, staying on the range of just about 1 second. Now he's finally on the rear. But is he gonna get past? Under 0.3 of a second. Oh, it's going way wide there, so has to get off the throttle. But still managed to hold on. He's really close to the Mercedes Dan TGT. Is he gonna get past? I don't think he has the overspeed right now. He's still on the brink of getting past. Maybe here on the outside of Pujon. There's a better exit going into Piff Pop. He's looking on the inside. Can he get past? He's braking late. Ooh, almost hits the rear end of the Mercedes of Dan TGT. But now has a really good line into the next corners. Can he go on the inside? Dan TGT, the Mercedes is parking the bus on the inside. Animalus is on P12 right now. We're looking at their Onko, who's trying to get past the Mercedes. He's almost under AstroTurf on the outside. But going into Blanchimont, he is really close. Looking at the rear view camera. Is he gonna park it on the inside? Oh, he's losing it. No, there you go. Oh, their Onko has lost the car going into Blanchimont, even before Blanchimont, to be honest. Let's have a close look at what happened. Here he is on the exit. He hits the AstroTurf for a little bit. Now goes on the inside. Wants to overtake into the Blanchimont. Goes on the grass here. Gets caught on the white line and just slips it. Oversteers. Bam. Into the wall. Rear damage. And that is the fight for P10 over. Going into the fight for P8 actually. Going into the pits. Has to just do some repairs. Probably gonna stay in front of LM Performante, I guess, but the gap is gonna be closer than that their uncle was going to like. Their uncle arriving in the pits now only has to fix. He's gonna fix the tires, and he's gonna fix the damage, and he's gonna get out. But where is Performante? He's going up to Arusno. Into La Source has a not really good exit. But is he gonna make it? Alan Performante. We look on the left side. Here he's driving. On the right side, there is their uncle. Is he gonna get past? Their uncle has to brake over here. This is full speed for Performante, and he's gonna get past, but he's gonna get a penalty as well. Is he gonna get a penalty? Yeah, he's gonna get a penalty. So it's a P9 for Ellen Performant for now, but is it gonna be their uncle after the penalty? We're gonna see. The gap is also still small between the two guys from the Racing Asylum teams. Roses on P3, was P2 for most of the race. Had to make an extra pit stop and is now on P3. 4 seconds behind is Nico trying to catch up with the guys. Last laps 2 minute 12, 2 minute 13 for Shadow. The tires of Shadow are a bit older than Rose's, so that's gonna come into Rose's hands. Ooh, and Dylan has reached the back of Marky Mark. We're gonna stay with this battle for P6 in the race. After almost 4 hours of racing. Just about 8 laps to go. Is it gonna be Dylan who is gonna take that P6 away from Marky Mark? Marky Mark last lap 13.5. Last lap for Dylan 12.7. Was 0.8 of a second faster. Can he use that overspeed now to overtake that other Audi? He's gonna give it his best shot anyway. Outside line for Dylan. Is lining it up perfectly for the bus stop. Now has a good exit. Not the best exit. Marky Mark survives for another couple of corners. Ooh, gap now under 5/10 of a second, and Shadow is going out of the way. Team orders from the Racing Asylum's team. Roses has gotten by of Shadow, and that's because Shadow went off his gas. Here we see it from the inputs, goes to the right side, off throttle, even braking slightly. That means Shadow is now P3. Ooh, and what happened to Nico? Nico has damage on the front side. Last lap, it all went wrong for Nico, the 69 car of GTSV. And then it is II who's getting really close from P5 to P4. It's only 3.5 seconds. Front damage for Nico. Not what did he hit? 14 seconds lost. Jesus, that's a lot. For these last 6 laps, is Nico gonna be able to keep AI away? How is the top speed of the Audi? Oh, he's missing a lot. I think he was missing like 3-4 kph into the corner. But we're gonna see what it will be in Eau Rouge. Gap now 3.3 seconds. Last lap to 14.2 to 12.6. 1.6 seconds is the difference. What is gonna be the speed into Eau Rouge? 255. 285, 295. It's a real speedy advantage for II. Look at the timer going down, 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 almost to the 2.7. It is actually gonna hit the 2.7. Nico's first sector 5/10 slower than his personal best. 2.3 seconds already. Another second off the timer. Dylan passed Marky Mark. It happened while we were not looking, but the chat was paying attention. I wasn't, sorry. But it is Marky Mark going past, Dylan going past Marky Mark. And they were fighting. Look at the lap times, 2:14, 2:15. And the battle is not over. Marky Mark is still in the slipstream. Is he able to hang on? That's the question. There's no threat from behind because that gap is 1 minute and 5 seconds to Dan TGG. And is there a battle behind LM Performance and their uncle? Their uncle went in, so I think their uncle is gonna go to LM Performance to overtake him. But also Animalus and the Johnny Waffle in a battle for P11 in the race. Gonna pay attention to these two guys. We haven't seen Animalus in the whole race, so it's only fair to give him a bit of attention. Just dropped up slightly. Last lap Animalus was 1.3 seconds faster. Slightly dropped off in the last sector. II 1.3 seconds is the gap now. Last lap 13.9 from Nico. He's trying to learn how to drive with a damaged car. Can't go into the pits because that will lose too much time. And who will be taking over next lap? We don't know. At the end, it's all kicking off. Marky Mark still within a touching distance, 1.1 seconds. Their uncle getting closer to Performante. Animalia staying close to Johnny Waffle. Jochem too far behind. Three battles on track and I don't even know which one to follow. Probably the one that's going to be done the fastest is A, except for when he gets a penalty. I think he's going to get him this lap. The overspeed on the engine power, on the aerodynamic power is just too much. Under 5/10 of a gap. He is in the slipstream and it's gonna be massive. Look at this, look at the overspeed. It's gonna get him into turn 1 in the chicane, I think. He flies by. He absolutely flies by. I don't know if Nico went off the throttle. Yeah, he went off throttle, exactly. Knew what was gonna happen and decided to let it go and don't lose too much time. Maybe he's gonna get past him again because of the penalty, but we'll see. What's happening behind here? Mark is falling off quite a bit. Their uncle lost a bit of time and also has a penalty this lap. And here we have Mr. Johnny Waffle and Animalius. Let's look at the back. Let's take the replay. What happened? Did Johnny Waffle make a mistake? Look at there's some interesting lines. Oh, had to go way off throttle. Massive overspeed for Animalius. And he takes P11 because Johnny didn't want to get the penalty. And now it is P11 for the driver. For the German driver. Johnny Waffle is not gonna take it down lightly and tries to fight back. One minute and 38 seconds for Randy Moore versus Roses. Roses now 3.5 seconds away from Shadow. Shadow dropped off the pace quite a bit. But yeah, his tires are way older than the rest of the field. Now still Nico in the slipstream. Yeah, because of the penalty, of course. Is Nico gonna be able to attack with the damage? Nope, he's not gonna be able because the gap is only increasing even with the slipstream. So it is hoping for Nico that he can stay within the slipstream in the middle sector. So he doesn't, he loses the less amount of time possible. Ooh. Not the best bust up for Shadow. AI is now finally loose of Nico. Was expected to happen because of the damage that Nico has endured on the front side of his Audi. We don't know what happened, but we do know that he has the damage. Dylan has managed to drive away from Mark. Mark, who had a terrible last lap, and also something happened to him because he has now rear damage on his car. And not only that, also has a penalty. Half a second penalty. Gap between Performante and their uncle is staying the same. I think he's gonna be just about, because he has to do one more lap. Lap 56 is the last lap, so Randy Moore is gonna go into the pits this lap for his pit stop. Randy Moore extended his lead by about a minute in 2 hours time. He's gonna go into the pits now. His stint is over, and it's gonna be GTSV ERT 68 in the lead of the race by 1.5 minutes. Then we have to wait because Rose is only at the end of the bus stop, at the end of the Camel Straight. Oh. Marky Mark has made another big mistake. 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And the front end is damaged as well as the left wheel nuts. Big damage for Marky Mark. Was busy doing a good stint. Not a perfect stint, but a good stint. But it's all thrown in the bin with these 2 last laps. Luckily P8 is 51 seconds away. So it doesn't cost him a position. But still, it's not fun to drive. R.A. Rose going into the pits now. At least they have this lap. Same is for Era Shadow and NLR AI. This is his last lap, so he's gonna make it. Just about calculated it right. I think he's gonna be in with 1 or 2 liters left. Perfectly calculated. Their Uncle Performante, no difference in the timing. As we can see, everybody makes it into the pits. AA has made it with 2 liters of fuel. Nicootje is there as well. Now we're waiting for Dylan. There we have Dylan into the pits. Marky Mark lost a lot of time in the last 2-3 laps. He's doing lap times for 2:22 now. But luckily for him, it's over now. He can go into the pits and give the car back to his teammate cleanly as well. Then TGT went from P2 to P10 to P8 in this stint. Did a good job. Then can now also rest. Oh no. Oh no. What happened to Marky Mark? Did he overshoot the pit lane? Because if he tries to go back into the pit lane now, he's going to be reset on track. So something happened. Performante went hard into the wall at the pit exit. No damage for him, but he goes into the pitch. There we have their uncle going in. RA Marky Mark standing still at the bus stop. There we have Annabelius and Mr. Johnny Waffle. Oh, is it Jochem? No, it's Jochem. Jochem going for one more lap. There we have Mr. Johnny Waffle in. And that was it, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you very much for watching this live stream. This was it for me. I only do one stint this 24-hour event. I wish everyone the best of luck. And to every driver, congratulations for doing one stint. Good luck in your next stint. And may the best team win. Have fun. Everybody, have a great evening. See you later. Bye-bye. Thank you.